I always trusted my husband. Throughout our years together, he had always been a devoted family man, a role model for our children. His long business trips never made me suspicious. I was used to managing the household and taking care of the kids on my own. But then, with just one seemingly harmless message, my entire world collapsed. It all started on an ordinary evening. While I was putting my child to sleep, my phone buzzed with a message from my husband. "Check the gift list I ordered for the kids, let me know if anything is missing." Attached was a screenshot of his Amazon order. I opened it and skimmed through the items. Everything seemed normal. A doll for our daughter, a toy car for our son, some household essentials. But then my eyes stopped on something that shouldn't have been there, an unfamiliar address in another state, listed below the order. My heart sank. I quietly noted down the address and opened Google Maps. It wasn't a hotel or a company, it was a private apartment. Who lived there? And why was my husband sending packages to that address? I tried to reassure myself. Maybe it belonged to a relative or a colleague, but deep down I knew something was wrong. I had never been the kind of woman who doubted without reason, but that night, I did something I never imagined I would. I opened my husband's laptop. At first, I only intended to glance through his work emails, but when I typed that address into the search bar, countless emails appeared. They weren't work-related. They were filled with sweet words, secret rendezvous plans, and worst of all, luxurious hotel booking confirmations. His business trips had been a cover. I clicked on the most recent email. The subject line was simple: "I can't wait for tomorrow." The content was brief. "My love, the day has finally come for us to be together. My bags are packed, and I've made dinner reservations for tomorrow night. The matching robes you love have arrived. I know you'll look stunning in them. Sleep well, my girl." My hands trembled. I kept scrolling. There were pictures, taken on a trip last month, when I had thought he was away for important meetings. He was holding her, a woman I had never seen before, but who had clearly been in his life for a long time. My heart pounded, not from sorrow, but from the fury rising within me. How long had he been deceiving me? How many nights had I stayed up alone, caring for our sick children, managing everything by myself, while he was indulging in his secret affair? But I didn't let my emotions take over. I knew what I had to do. I needed more proof. I needed to know exactly what they had done. So I kept searching, through every corner of his laptop, browsing history, credit card transactions, and the truth became clearer with every discovery. The scattered pieces came together, forming a picture I never imagined would belong to my own marriage. But I refused to let it end this way. I sat silently in front of the screen, the damning emails glaring back at me. There was no doubt left. My husband wasn't just cheating. He was doing it so openly, so brazenly, that he didn't even bother to cover his tracks. But I needed more. I needed to know the full extent of his betrayal. If he had gone this far, there would be more evidence. I logged into our shared credit card account. Immediately, a long list of transactions appeared, but I focused only on the unusual ones. And just as I suspected, he hadn't been careful at all. Fine dining restaurants, luxury hotels, expensive gifts from high-end brands. I scrolled further down. A recent transaction caught my eye, nearly $500 for a couple's retreat package luxury spa resort. I held my breath. This wasn't just a casual getaway, this was an all-inclusive romantic vacation. Couples massages, private cooking classes, candlelit dinners, and extravagant amenities. I kept searching. Another receipt from Etsy stood out, a set of matching bathrobes embroidered with their initials intertwined. I felt sick. At the same time, I spotted another transaction, a Venmo payment with the message, "Buy yourself something beautiful, my love." My chest turned ice cold. My husband's betrayal wasn't just physical. He had invested his heart, his money, and even his future into this affair. I checked his Instagram, though I doubted he would post anything incriminating. But then I noticed something odd. He hadn't posted about work in a long time. No photos from conferences, no updates about business trips, no mentions from colleagues. If there was nothing online, did his coworkers even know where he was? Or was I the only one being fooled? I opened his Google search history. More evidence appeared. Most romantic restaurants at XYZ Resort. How to write a love letter. Matching couple rings that aren't too obvious. That last search nearly made me drop the mouse. Couple rings? He wasn't just having an affair. He was building a parallel life with her, as if I didn't exist. But the final blow came when I checked his inbox and found a fully paid booking confirmation for a trip to Las Vegas next month. He had long-term plans. He wasn't sorry. He wasn't hesitating. I clenched my fists. If he had planned all of this so meticulously, then I would plan just as carefully. I inhaled deeply and picked up a pen and paper. If he could plan every detail of his affair, then I could do the same. But instead of gifts and romantic dinners, I would meticulously destroy the facade he had built. Step 1. Gather evidence. I spent the night downloading every incriminating email, taking screenshots of every text, and backing up every transaction record. I ensured nothing was left out. If he tried to erase anything, I would already have it all. Step 2. Confirm his itinerary. The next morning, while he was in the shower, I casually walked past his suitcase. Everything was neatly packed. Brand new clothes and expensive cologne I had never seen him use, and a handwritten note, "I can't wait to see you. Forever yours." I smirked. Enjoy it while you can. This will be the most unforgettable trip of your life. Step 3. Set the trap. I knew exposing him wasn't enough. I wanted him to feel the humiliation and pain his lies had caused me. I wrote a letter, 10 pages long, detailing every piece of evidence. I didn't just accuse him of cheating, I documented everything, step by step. I slipped the letter into the lining of his suitcase. I wanted him to find it when he was settled in his hotel room, unable to escape the truth. Final step. Wait, I watched him pull his suitcase to the door, wearing that same false smile I once adored. He kissed my forehead like always before leaving on a business trip. "I'll call you when I land," he said. I nodded, giving him a soft smile. But this time, I wasn't the naive, deceived wife anymore. This time, I was in control. That evening, I sat on the couch, swirling a glass of red wine in my hand, eyes fixed on my phone. I was waiting. A few hours later, his message arrived. "I've landed. Looks like it'll be a busy week. Don't forget to take the kids to school in the morning. Love you." I laughed. The same tired lies. I didn't reply. Instead, I scrolled through my contacts and selected 2 names, my husband and his mistress. My hands were steady as I typed. "Enjoy your trip. Be sure to open the suitcase. I left you both a little surprise." Then I pressed send and waited. This was just the beginning. Final step. Wait. I watched him pull his suitcase to the door, wearing that same false smile I once adored. He kissed my forehead like always before leaving on a business trip. "I'll call you when I land," he said. I nodded, giving him a soft smile. But this time, I wasn't the naive, deceived wife anymore. This time, I was in control. That evening, I sat on the couch, swirling a glass of red wine in my hand, eyes fixed on my phone. I was waiting. A few hours later, his message arrived. "I've landed. Looks like it'll be a busy week. Don't forget to take the kids to school in the morning. Love you." I laughed. The same tired lies. I didn't reply. Instead, I scrolled through my contacts and selected 2 names, my husband and his mistress. My hands were steady as I typed. "Enjoy your trip. Be sure to open the suitcase. I left you both a little surprise." Then I pressed send and waited. This was just the beginning. I ended the call before he could say another word. I didn't need to hear his excuses, his fake pleas. Now I was the one in control. I took a deep breath and stood up, feeling an unfamiliar but powerful energy surge through me. This wasn't pain anymore. It was liberation. I had spent too many years trusting someone unworthy, and today I had put an end to it all. My next steps were clear. I opened my laptop and logged into our joint bank account. I didn't take everything. I didn't need to. I simply transferred a significant portion into my personal account, leaving him enough to survive when he returned. I wasn't out to destroy him financially. I just wanted him to experience what it felt like to lose something he had taken for granted. Then, I opened my email and composed a message, attaching all the evidence I had gathered. The recipients, his family, a few close friends, and, most importantly, his boss. If he had used business trips as an excuse to cheat, then the people involved deserved to know the truth. I didn't add any harsh words. I let the evidence speak for itself. Next, I stepped into my children's room, watching them sleep peacefully. I knew this marriage was over, but I wouldn't let its collapse harm my kids. They would always have their mother. A strong mother, one who chose to face the truth instead of living in deception. That night, I slept better than I had in years. No more nightmares, No more lingering fears. The next morning, when I woke up, my phone was flooded with missed calls and messages from him. I didn't read them. I didn't need to. My life had entered a new chapter, one where he no longer had a place, and one thing was certain: he would never forget yesterday. Here's the full story in English. The next morning, as I stood in front of the mirror, I saw a different version of myself. No longer the submissive woman, no longer the fool who had been deceived for years. I saw a strong, free woman ready to start over. I took a sip of coffee, letting the bitterness settle on my tongue, then picked up my phone. I decided to read just one message from him, just to satisfy my curiosity. "What the hell did you do? Are you crazy? You just ruined my life." I smirked. His life? What about the years I had been lied to, betrayed, treated like an idiot? He didn't care about the pain I endured. He only cared about losing control. I didn't reply. I blocked his number, deleted all his messages, and closed a chapter of my past that I never wanted to revisit. Then I sent an email to my lawyer. I wanted to proceed with the divorce immediately. I didn't need to fight over anything. I just wanted custody of my children. I knew that with the evidence I had, the court would be on my side. That day, I took my kids to the park. They laughed and played, unaware that their lives were about to change forever. But I knew that no matter what happened, I would always be there for them. I would give them a real home, one without lies, without betrayal. Late that night, after I had put my children to bed, the doorbell rang. I opened the door and saw him standing there looking exhausted, his eyes filled with desperation. "Let's talk. Please don't do this." I looked at him calmly and smiled. "Talk? We had hundreds of chances to talk, but you never really wanted to listen. Now it's too late." He opened his mouth to say something, but I didn't care. I slammed the door shut, leaving him standing outside alone. For the first time in years, I felt truly free. I had closed an old chapter of my life, and now I could begin a new one where I was the main character, not just a shadow in someone else's story. And I knew that from this day forward I would never look back.